I usually do introductions.
Sure.
Just post-production.
Yeah. That's
so
fine.
we can just jump right into it.
Okay.
But, for anyone watching or listening, I'm sitting here with Traver Boehm.
Boom, yeah.
Of Uncivilized. Just Uncivilized.
Yeah,
how we're going by these days. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thank you for having me in your home and for sitting down with me and
Thanks for
having
coming
a
out.
chat. Especially just sometimes I organize these things super last minute.
Yeah.
And so you were very gracious just to say, yeah, dude, totally. You can come to my house. We can sit down. And that was I think it was less than a week ago.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Glad
kind
you're
of just
here.
passing through the area. And so I'm glad I made this work. I've been following you for a while and I've heard a lot of great things about the work that you're doing in the world. I've seen the work you're doing in the world, but I've had a number of friends and people that have crossed paths with you over the number of years, and just sounds like you're a lot of alignment, obviously, and just doing some really powerful things in the world. So
thanks, brother.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to start there and just ask about right now in your life, like what is front of mind in the work that you're doing. You've obviously primarily working with men, you have a community, all these types of kind of different projects you're taking on. And I imagine like me, like your work kind of evolves with you and how you see things and how you're approaching things. So I'm curious, like right now, what's really present for you in kind of everything that you're creating in the world and what's front of mind?
What's interesting, Evan, is this weekend we had a call where two men in my organization who are in their 70s who have acted as our elders. I introduced them to each other maybe 3 years ago. One is our chief therapist, the guy who's been teaching therapists. He's been a therapist for over 50 years. So he's like this brilliant savant equine therapist. He's a freak, right? Like he's the guy you go to if the worst thing in the world happens to you. He lives up in the mountains in Golden. Like no one really knew of him outside the therapy world, and we found him. And I introduced him to the guy who created the software in the 80s that Pixar uses today. So you're talking like these are some smart dudes, and they didn't have best friends as like 70-year-olds. And they became our chief elders, and every week would record a podcast just for the guys in the Uncivilized Nation. And this past weekend, they're like, it's our 100th episode. We want to branch out and go public. Like we want to take this on the road. We want to be talking. And we had 120 people on a call, men and women, listening to their experience and just asking them the kind of questions that we don't really have access to anymore if your parents aren't still alive or your grandparents aren't still alive. So to answer your question, what I'm seeing culturally and societally are massive shifts, massive paradigmal shifts. Like the way we did business 5 years ago is different now. The way politics is 5 years ago, different now. Yes, COVID changed everything, but so did AI, so did tech, so did whatever is bringing to light. We were talking before you hit record, a number of ways that men and people have acted out of integrity on the highest level that was kept secret is now like woof in the public light. And so the combination of all of that to me says we're missing that elder wisdom. We're missing someone that says, hey, life's long. Follow your heart. Follow your soul. Yeah, I get it. In your 20s, you're going to want to make money and buy a Mercedes and get the house and the wife and the thing. And by the way, at some point that will be less important to you. And so I think I'm finding what's less important to me is that same stuff. 5 years ago, it was like, I want to build a 7-figure business. I want a G-Wagon. I want all this stuff.
I love a G-Wagon, man. It's been my dream kind of car for sure.
Yeah, I sold mine 2 weeks ago.
Did you have one?
It was like I came home and she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay." It just kept breaking down. Yeah. So it was like this expensive ego trip.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
But I say all of that because what I've also found with men is that I'm now getting guys who go, hey, I did the thing. I built the thing. I checked the boxes. And it isn't your classic midlife crisis. It's I'm still in that state, but I'm really realizing now I'm not getting the satisfaction that was promised to me. And I'm starting to feel shit that I don't understand. I have this weird calling to do something else, right? I was an accountant my entire life, and now, God, I really kind of want to paint. And it makes no sense, and it makes no logical sense. And so I'm seeing that in the culture come out. and then going, wow, I may be a little not undereducated. Like, it's not my station yet to go, here, my son, here's what you need to do. But I get to take these older guys who are elders, not just older guys, and go, they have the answers for you. Let's start that conversation. And also, what's also incredibly beautiful for them is I find, I grew up in Japan.
Oh, really?
And when people get older in Japan, they move into the house and they're taken care of for their lives. Here in the West, it's like, oh, you're a tiny bit of an inconvenience. Go to the home, die quietly, try to leave us something, and we kick you out. But what we also disconnect from heavily is their wisdom, their stories. They're like, oh, we've seen this cycle 4 times already in society. You guys are all excited because it's new to you, but we've seen this. Calm down. So I think there's a holistic aspect of life that I feel like men have craved the nourishment of and not found. And now it's no longer that you can no longer live on societal cup noodle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're craving something deeper, something richer, something more profound.
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you familiar with Bill Plotkin or any of his work? No. So he was based out of Durango, I believe, but has a whole cosmology, a whole system around initiation, essentially. But it's much different than like, it's not simply like you do a rite of passage and now you're a man. It's like,
sure.
It's we are living for 99% of population, unless they go through a very specific kind of ordeal that sometimes takes years, are adolescents their entire lives, right? And I think what I'm hearing in that, or what I've been learning, I just did a workshop with him, or with his organization, like a month ago, and I really came out of that with this like perspective. I recognize that even some of the people that I've been coached by and taught under and that I really respected are like kind of still adolescent in some ways. And I think what he talks about is moving from that egocentric way of like, I need the G-Wagon, I need the money, I need the blah, 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 to like a more, he calls it your ecocentric niche, but it's like, it's soul work. So it's like, where do you really belong into the world? And like, it's more mythic. It's like, what is mystery pulling you towards? And the reason I bring that up is because you say something like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would I go from banking to painting? Sure. Something like that. It's like, yeah, it's because this is beyond all the cultural programming that you have been fed since you came before out. You could speak, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, since you got your first 30 vaccinations or whatever, like that, when you're 2 hours old or whatever, right? It's like, you just get immediately kind of pulled into this, the way that life is here. Yeah. And I don't know what it is, and you probably have more perspective because you've probably got a decade on me or so. How old are you? I'm 48. 48, so I'm 34. So, perspective, obviously, over time, and I think that's what you're speaking to a lot of these older guys too. It's like they just have more perspective because they've seen the cycles. And even in my shorter life, it does feel like this particular time period, there's like a tumultuous, like people are really starting to wake up to this stuff. Like you were talking about the stuff that happened in Nickelodeon, the stuff that's happening in the rap industry with Diddy and all this like super recent news where the fabric of society is kind of unraveling, where we're really starting to poke holes in the political system here, obviously. And people are really apparent to that now. Sure. But yeah, it's like, and if all that starts to kind of come apart, it's like, well, then what is life? If it's not for the G-Wagon or if it's not for this kind of stuff? And I was listening to a podcast, I think you recorded on the New Year this year, talking about power and how your relation to power has changed. Right. And it's like at some point in your life, it was like becoming physically strong and like dominating and Jiu-Jitsu and, training. And then it's like, okay, now accumulating wealth, which you're kind of just speaking to. Now it's transitioning to something else. Right. Yeah, I see that. It feels like culturally what's happening is we placed our gods outside, to not get too esoteric with people. Yeah. But every major religion would say it's inside of you. And we're like, cool, thanks. And it's not. And so let's have this mythic creature out there, or this mythic desire out there, or the goal of the prize is out there. And what so many people I think are experiencing are, one, I either got the prize, it's not the thing it was promised, or the search is killing me. And so I'm called back inward. I was just talking to a woman earlier who said, God is within. And I'm not a religious person,
but that hit me that if we take the word and tease it apart, it truly is satisfaction is within, love is within, desire is within, truth is within, right? If we speak specifically to the Nickelodeon thing that happened here, a number of people, a whole generation, Evan, now know that the kids they emulated growing up watching on TV were being abused.
Yeah.
Now that is a shock to the system. When you're like, I wanted to be that kid. I wanted to be an actor, or I just like, that's like they have a relationship with that human because they watch them on the screen for the formative years of their lives. And then to know that the truth of what was going on in the background, they now feel that. And so again, it was like the perspective was truth is out there. And now we're learning, wow, truth has a lot of colors and manipulations. And truth now has to come from in here. And I know a lot of your listeners are men. That's a challenge for us. We are the external creatures. We build externally. We live externally. We want to go out and do, go out and conquer, go west, young man, go forth, and etc., as opposed to sit and actually feel what's true for you. So it's a very destabilizing time. I think COVID was just fuel on the fire. Right? Things were getting mixed up politically here. We just had Me Too. There was a bit of like, I don't know if I think Trump had just gotten elected or after, like things that we thought to be true weren't. And then it was like, okay, let's blow the whole system up. And when the foundational pillars of I'm okay because of X, those X's come tumbling down, it's, of course, people are destabilized. Right? If you found out today that your parents weren't really your parents and you didn't grow up where you grew up and your astrological sign isn't what you thought it was and your brothers and sisters aren't really your brothers and sisters, that's a tough weekend.
Yeah.
That's some sitting down like, okay, who the fuck am I in the world? Mm-hmm. And am I okay in the world? And even this is Dewey stuff. The guy I talked about as the elder, he has this developmental model. Says like, is the world okay? Am I okay? What can I do? How well can I do it? And when things happen to us, a breakup, a death in the family, you get fired from a job, we drop down from how much can I do and how well can I do it to, oh shit, is the world okay? And literally anybody who's been through a hard breakup knows like, you don't want to leave your house. You're like, I don't know, it's not safe out there anymore. And I find that's actually the case for a lot of people. As the pillars of safety come down or the truth behind them actually gets revealed, then most people drop down developmentally to a very childish or young place, let's call it, of like, I'm not okay. And I don't know how to get okay.
It's like a helplessness almost.
Yeah. Right. The things I know how to do. I know how to make money. I know how to bench press. I know how to have sex. Like these things aren't going to solve what we can say is not a mythological problem, but like a real spiritual challenge that our Western society is facing.
Yeah. And it almost is mythic in a way because it's like there's kind of like a bigger story at play. Do you know what I mean? And we get so I think one of the worst things that I notice in myself and in men that I work with is like we get the self-referencing gets really, really intense when we're in these breakdowns, and then our whole world kind of collapses in, and we get victimized legitimately by things that happen to us, and our heart gets broken, and we lose our job, or we lose all our crypto, or whatever the hell happens to us. Like many people, I'm sure can resonate with that last bit, but staying in that like. We respond in the ways that we're predictable or reliable to respond, which are very old ways of responding, which are those child or uninitiated or adolescent kind of ways of dealing with things. Which is like, of course, like getting a bigger bench press is not going to solve your existential, issues. What do you what for you? What is the antidote? Like, how do you see working with this when men do come to you and they're in these kind of crises or breakdowns? Because I resonate and I notice a lot of the same patterns.
It's a tough thing to say to a guy, but you're not going to outthink this. Yeah. And so what has to be explained and given to him is a mythic perspective or a spiritual perspective, is to say, this is so much bigger than you. You're not going to take a pen and paper. Like you can't solve heartbreak that way. That's something most guys will understand. We say, how do you actually, if we look at we're going to use heartbreak as a microcosm of what's happening in society. You can't outthink it. You can't outfuck it. You can't outwork it. You can't outsmoke it. You can't outdrink it. You can't do anything. It has to run its course. And you have to actually sit in the middle of it, in the shit of it, like down in the muck, and go, okay, how do I get myself okay right now? And it usually comes back to very simple basics. Can I get outside? Can I move my body? Can I get sleep? Right? Can I eat well? Can I actually be in communion and in relationship with people who are positive, who aren't fear-mongering what I'm going around? Or in the case of a heartbreak, who aren't like, oh my God, F her, or you should just go out and F a bunch of women.
Let's go to the bar.
Yeah. Let's numb this. It's actually people who go, yeah, times are tough. I get that. But I think having the perspective that this cycle has happened. This is why I love the elders. Like if you lived through World War II and then Watergate and then Vietnam and then Korea and then whatever, then blah, 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 blah. And you've seen 7 crashes in the stock market. You're like, you know what? This is bigger than you. Just sit with it. So first it's a matter of like, hey, calm the fort. Like everything's going to be okay. And get out of here. Feel it. Drop down into your heart where you can go, okay, I actually can feel my emotion right now. But then for a lot of guys, I'll say like, can you talk to your soul? I know that's for a lot of them, I get like the puppy head turn or like, do you mean religious? I'm like, no, not religious. The part of you that's known everything from the beginning, that's known who you are, why you're here, what you're meant to do. And again, maybe the puppy turn, but some guys can actually go, okay, I get that. I think there is something bigger happening around me, or the collective wouldn't feel it, right? So depersonalizing the experience. Remember when I was getting divorced, this helped for like a week. I Googled how many people get divorced in a year. And they're like 800,000 Americans will get divorced this year. And I was like, oh,
I'm just another
it's not
tiny
just me.
statistic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where I'd walked around for like a month, like I'm the only guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Everybody's staring at me. It's
totally.
like, you're the divorced guy, aren't you? I was like 800,000. So by depersonalizing it, it then let me feel it. And it was like, okay, this sucks. Let me let the emotion come and wash itself through. And then it was, if I was writing my own story or I was reading my own story and I dropped down here and went, oh, this is just a hard chapter. Oh, but this could be a really unique chapter. This could be the chapter. This could be the pivotal chapter. And the entry fee of the pivotal chapter is the shit that's going on in here and the madness that I'm trying and like gripping at and clawing at to make sense of. It actually does make sense that if something's so big, your brain's not going to be able to, there's no answer. So what does it do? It spins and spins and spins and spins and spins. Then it finally surrenders and is like, I can't figure this problem out. And then you drop down here and go, okay, now I have to feel it in its entirety. This sucks. I don't want to do this, but I'll do it. Okay, a couple of weeks on the bathroom floor. And then it's, okay, wow. Maybe this is an opportunity and maybe I'm not alone.
How did you get, like, what was your personal process to actually even allowing yourself to get there? If you remember when you were first starting to like, cause you sound like, using your own words, you're kind of this bullheaded, knuckle dragging, that persona that you felt you had to build in order to be safe or tough or strong enough or good enough. Was it the divorce that kind of cracked you open to really start looking at like, oh, there's so much happening beneath the surface that I'm not even addressing, or I'm numbing, or I'm piling things on top of? Or were you already kind of into that work? Or
I had spent my 20s reading Carolyn Myss. Do you know who Carolyn Myss is?
No, but I've heard you mention her.
Phenomenal
a bunch of times.
Woman.
Yeah.
So she's a theologian by training. And therefore, she's like a spiritual teacher from Chicago. So it's like, the angels are real. Stop whining like a little bitch and get back to work. It's like that combo coming together. So I'd had some insight into it, but I think what actually happened, and I don't know how else to describe it, Evan, intuitively, I knew this was so much bigger than my capacity. Like I can't outlift this situation. I can't outrun this situation. I can't use any of my natural ways to move around it or bypass it or skip it. It's so big, right? It's like if 3 of your best friends die at the same time, you're like, okay, I need help. I need to sit down on this one. Something that overwhelming. I think I was that overwhelmed. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, there was so much magic in it. So the actual day my ex-wife drove away, this was the very day she left, and I was sitting on my couch like, what just happened? I was married yesterday. We had dinner last night. Like we had slept in the same bed. There was no argument. Like, how could this happen? I got some kind of thought or download or heard like, you're going to have to hang on. If you do hang on the other side of this will be the life that you want to live. And so that sentence, where that came from, I don't know. People will say, oh, that's God. I don't know. That's Buddha. That's Allah. That's your own imagination. That's nature. I don't fucking know. I don't care. I know I heard it. And I know I heard it in a way that it penetrated my ego, because my ego had probably just gotten decimated, and it landed in my heart, and then it landed in my gut. And then all of these people and ideas and emails from strangers and emails from people I knew and passing conversations at my business solidified that, right? So I didn't have the training. I think I had the seeds of the training and had the potential of it. And then this situation, it initiated me, like, to use your words, right? I remember so early in that situation, I had to email my CPA. This is a dude who I talk to once a year, right? Hey man, here's my income. How much can you get me back? Like, thanks, Traver. Send me the bill. A guy maybe 15, 20 years older than me. And now obviously I have to be like, hey, here's the deal. My wife has just left. We would file together. We're not going to do, you can't hide a divorce from your CPA.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, we'll just have a quick call. Told him that. I was like, hey, we're getting divorced. It's awful. And my business partnership's splitting up too. So there's a couple dynamics here. And a day later, he emailed me and said, just hear me out. I'm older than you. I've seen this so many times. If you do this right, on the other side, there's this gold that you don't have access to now. Now send me your 1099s. Right?
Yeah. Even the CPA is like giving you the guidance.
Where did you come from?
Yeah.
What kind of angel are you that have now come into my life? And just refortified the counter message that I did get from a lot of my friends and from people at my business, which were like, cool, let's take you out. Let's get you drunk. Let's get you laid. Let's get you remarried. And by the way, start another business down the street.
I often find that's like their inability to be with the tension and
sure.
like devastation. It actually has nothing to do with helping you. It's like people actually don't know how to be with someone that's like in grief or in breakdown or like totally devastated.
They don't.
And so they do what they know to, and of course their intentions, although not very deep, are probably from somewhat of a good place, but they're applying what they know.
Sure.
But, yeah, man, I never had men in my life until the last, 4 or 5 years that could actually just be with me in like the whatever I was moving through.
Sure.
And like, that's really what I needed. And it sounds like this guy kind of saw that too. And I always have this quote, like, rock bottom is a beautiful start. Right?
Yeah.
Because it often is.
It's honest.
Yeah.
It's dead honest, man. And I think that too, I looked at my life and I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep drinking. I didn't like this. It wasn't fun hanging out in bars at 2:00 in the morning. It wasn't fun driving home drunk, knowing I shouldn't be doing that. It wasn't fun getting high at 2:00 in the afternoon or spending a whole Saturday looking at porn. Like, I intuitively, it was like, this isn't how I want to live. And so I really thought of it as, okay, maybe there is an opportunity here if I want to use it. It's presenting itself. And I imagined it like a window that was opening. And be like, cool, I can walk through this. I can do all of that work. I can come back and the window's going to close. Or I can sit here and be like, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. And numb my way through it and go, cool, a year from now, I feel better because I've just bypassed the whole thing. Now the window's closed. Now I don't get to do that work. Even if I want to, it's too late. And if it was a fear-based reaction, my fear really was, I'll be right back here in 4 years. another divorce, another opportunity to quit drinking, another opportunity to quit getting stoned, another opportunity to actually live the business I want to be living. Like there was enough in there. Like Francis Weller talks about like the material of the soul. When you've gathered enough of it, it's undeniable. And I think in that moment, I didn't have the languaging for any of this. It was this crazy, like, where am I hearing things? Why did my CPA just email me? Like, what the hell is going on? Why am I going to AA? Why don't I want to keep living? Why am I writing every single day now? Like, what is happening to me? And now in hindsight, go, oh, welcome to an initiation, right? Without perhaps a particular guide where you said a buddy didn't come down and be like, hey man, like this is what I do now. Yeah. Get guys on the phone like, oh, you're getting divorced. Cool. Here's the opportunity. Yeah. Here's what you're facing. Here's the suck of it. By the way, at the end of this, there's a whole nother life for you if you want it. If you don't, you also get to make that choice. But this doesn't happen without cause, right? There's something in you that's saying, hey, this wasn't the right situation, was it? Yeah. This wasn't the right relationship. This wasn't the right job. This wasn't the right place in the country to live. And I don't feel qualified to speak too heavily on the facts of the soul or even the psyche, but it feels like after now engaging with thousands of men over the years, I know very few who, if they feel it and follow their intuition and follow what's happening, don't then look back and go, I can't imagine being back in that old life. And that's what's crazy. People are like, would you remarry your ex-wife? And I was like, I wouldn't last 30 seconds
You're not the same human.
In that old marriage, right? Or in that old job or in that old town even. But yet I fought like hell for 6 months to keep it. And now, like, oh, what a blessing.
We so often fight for our limitations. Right?
For sure. We fight for what's familiar.
Because it's familiar, exactly. Not realizing all the possibility that's on the other side of that.
Yeah.
I think that's so... I had a piece there. I lost it. But I guess I'm curious, too, now, like, you're in relationship again, right? And obviously, on some level, I believe, I don't know if you resonate with this or not, but, like, regardless of something happening to us, we kind of create the circumstances for that to happen. I mean, there's probably a really good reason that your relationship ended, whether you wanted it to or not. How has relating for you changed? Like, what is your relationship to the feminine look like now? And like, what's kind of, how has that deepened?
I mean, it's 1,000% different. I had no education on the difference between the masculine and the feminine. I had no difference or education other than men are from Mars, women are from Venus, which was like, you guys do weird shit, we do weird shit. It's completely different. I didn't have masculine support. I didn't have integrity. I didn't have a path. I didn't understand what a purpose was. I didn't understand depth. I didn't even know what these words mean, and I speak English. But they just didn't have... They flew by me, right? So now to be in relationship, one, I know why I'm here. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know why I'm on this earth on a number, like all the way through the channel. Like I know why my soul brought me here. Now she gets to be in relationship with a man who knows that.
Super rare.
Very different. Yeah. Right. It doesn't mean it won't change. And of course. And in 5 years, I may be like, I don't know why I'm here. I mean, sometimes that happens daily if you want the truth. Or it's like, I know why I'm here, but like, what do I do today? You know,
dude, I've been even going through that. I think that's, I actually think it's weird if that doesn't happen throughout your life because you've become rigid or dogmatic or kind of, you're not flowing with like what actually wants to come through you.
Yeah.
And I think I want to, I just had something come to me, but I want to, touch on that question I just asked you. But there's this piece I hear around that breakdown of that kind of devastation. It was like really just surrendering, kind of what we were talking about before. It's like, I don't know why I want to paint. It's like, I hear this piece around kind of just surrendering to what wants to come through you. Like, I don't know why I'm writing, but I'm going to trust that impulse, right? Even if it doesn't make sense. And in my experience, every time I don't trust that impulse and I decide to like think or logic my way through it, I put myself in a situation that sucks. Yeah. And I kind of know it the whole time too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, not really like, oh no, but this is actually what wanted to happen. And it didn't make sense. And it required me to give up a relationship or a job or do something that was completely, it didn't make it didn't have any cohesion with the rest of my life. And yet when I've followed that muse or followed that, that mystery, it often works out better. And I imagine from that divorce, from what I've understood in your work, you wrote a book kind of about that. People resonated with it. And this whole organization that you run now essentially kind of blossomed out of that. I'm sure there's more nuance to it, but from this willingness to let everything kind of fall to the wayside and just trust on the next piece of your journey.
Yeah. It's a wild hindsight.
It always is.
Right? It's incredible in hindsight. It's too much to speak of in a time period, but I went on a journey, like a full leave the house, leave the town, sell the stuff, go live in the woods, go live in the dark, go do all kinds of crazy shit, come back to like a full hero's journey.
Totally. Yeah.
And then wrote a book just about divorce. And it was like, okay, I was on a different path, Evan. Like I was going to be a divorce coach. I wanted to do a 12-month mastermind called the Year to Live Project, following the year I'd done prior. We're taking people through a year of their lives where I guide them through what would you do if it was your last year to live. That was my plan. And then that first book just led to 1,000 guys reaching out to me and being like, this is weird. Why are you reaching out to me? But you know what? You did, so let's get on a phone call. Over a course of a year, all I did was talk to men. And I still was like, this isn't the work I'm going to do. I'm just kind of picking up the phone. And I still fought it and fought it and fought it and fought it until the day I was like, okay, this is undeniable now. This is actually so scary to me that I have no choice in doing it. I'll even tell you, we talked about BOSS, the outdoor survival school. It was in the 5-day solo period where we're left alone for 5 days. I meditated, and I've meditated for 20 years. It was the first time in my life I saw visions meditating. And it was me standing in front of a group full of men saying, this is how I've lived my life. This is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. And I remember getting to the end of that and sitting back down and being like, that's weird because that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just in total denial.
Yeah,
of life is like literally putting it inside your brain and like giving you the full experience of it. You're like, fuck that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
We're so stubborn, man.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Totally.
Like knock your head on the same thing 19 times.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, like, it was a full surrender. I had to surrender to the fact that the marriage was ending. I had to surrender to the immediate calls that came in that said, hey, there's this year-long project that you're going to do, which is absolute insanity in comparison to my regular life. At the end of that was the absolute call. You're going to actually write a book about your experience in your divorce. I remember being I was in Nicaragua surfing and was having a real hard time emotionally and was like way off away from the normal lineup of people. I was out on my own. The waves were huge. And I remember like ducking under a wave. And these are like as big as our ceiling. And so I finally paddle out and I'm kind of like yelling at whoever, like, what am I supposed to do next? And I remember hearing like, you're going to write about everything you've been through. And I was thinking like, well, what else am I going to do?
No, not that one. What's the other thing I'm supposed to do? Yeah. Totally.
Can you help me out a little bit?
Yeah.
And so I can go back through the last 6-7 years and go, it was told. I didn't want to do it. I surrendered to it. And now I literally can't imagine doing anything else with my life.
Yeah.
Like this is my calling. And so I wonder too, for people listening, how much of that are you willing to go through of saying, God, I just keep hearing the same message. Right? I had 4 or 5 people in a 2-year span that I knew and didn't know say, you have to work with men. I was like, again, thanks. Awesome. Not in the plan. Please take your advice elsewhere. Yeah. But it added up.
Yeah.
So when it did land, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't a new idea. This has been here the whole time. Yeah. It's just been challenging and confronting.
Yeah, and life is trying to give you all these different ways of presenting these messages. And yeah, like we're laughing about it here, but I recorded a piece of content, a YouTube video recently, because so many guys are like, I need to find my purpose. What's my purpose? And it's like, your purpose is going to live you.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to come through a 5-step like thing. And like that can be helpful to
Sure.
identify strengths and weaknesses and everything like that. But like oftentimes it's not the thing that you think it's going to be. It's oftentimes like, I think this is one of your tenets. It's, what is it? In the wound, the gardens in the wound, or something similar to that.
Your greatest gifts grow in the garden of your wounds.
The greatest gifts, grow in the garden of your wound. And so often it is that thing that we're in resistance to. And what I've noticed more recently, because 3 or 4 years ago, I was giving different teachings and different coaching around purpose. And what I'm recognizing now is like my path to doing what I'm doing now, which is the purpose I'm living now. I don't know if it's going to be forever, but it certainly feels like I'm very much on a mission right now.
Yeah.
Came to me completely organically. Like I was a farmer. I was studying, I got into a men's group because I just felt like I needed to be around men. I'd read some David Data and I was like, it explained a lot to me, and he's like, go join a men's group. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I got a taste of it and I like really loved it. And I was like, cool, I'm just here to learn the skills. I just want to get better relationship. You know, I just want to meet good men and like, you know, cultivate some spiritual development. And then I'm like going to go back and I'm going to like grow my vegetables and take care of my cows and stuff like that. This is my mission, right? And then people started inviting me to like, no, you should teach a little thing. I hear you do men's work. You should teach. And I remember I was teaching like 3 guys in my living room.
Yeah.
Like just some embodiment work and some basic stuff and some meditations. And then, you know, and then John started giving me some opportunities to teach the bigger group. And then it just started to evolve. And then all of a sudden people, you know, I'm having a conversation about somebody and they're like, you should come teach a workshop up at our house, you know, for like 20 guys. And I was like, okay, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't do a ikigai. I didn't do any of this stuff, man. And I often find that like, we want to, we treat this the same as we treat like handing out a resume or applying for a job or like, it's like, this is it when it's really coming from the soul, man. Like I find it's often coming from left field. Like it's often coming in a way that the same thing, like you said, you can't logic your way through it. And a lot of guys are like really resistant to that level of trust and surrender that it takes in life to be like, to heed to the messages, to like really listen to what's coming through. Like we have to get hit over the head to be like, write the fucking book, man. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, goddamn, this is the 5th person that's come up to me and said like, do this thing. Like, what are you doing? Right. And so much of that, is just like whatever you want to call it, God, spirit, mystery, nature, anything, you know. And I had a very similar experience on my 5-day solo. Did you? We both did the 28-day, right? So shout out Boss. Anybody that wants to have like one of the most deepest, profound experiences of their life.
Bless Boss,
I've talked about that. It gives me goosebumps. Yeah. Because it was so powerful for me. But that I was elated, man. It was the same thing. I wasn't like sitting up meditating, but I was just laying on the dirt all day and like. I received so much from that. Like I received so much of that vision, you know, and of like this awareness of my life that was so profound, and what it, you know, similar to you, like what that required of me was to go out, like get into nature, get away from all this, get uncivilized, get undomesticated, whatever you want to call it, and just allow myself to receive, you know, and then from there, following those tracks, if I'm not stubborn enough, if I'm willing to surrender enough, like that I often find is probably the best guidance system for men to really live into a purpose that is deeper than what they already know. Would you agree? Yeah, for sure. And I find too, I mean, I agree with you. This is one of the challenges for men. It's not a logical, linear process. The soul speaks in whispers and mysteries and confusions, and like your entire life has told you to go right, and it's just like, nah, actually you're going to go left. And that requires so much surrender. And I'll also add, I was talking to a guy, it's maybe 2 months ago, and this was the call. He's like, hey, I need to find my purpose. I need to find my mission. I'm coming out of a breakup. I'm doing the thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, tell me what you like. Like, I have a really great job. I'm in the trades. I make a lot of money, but I don't think that's it. And I was like, okay, cool. Tell me, just keep going. Tell me more about you. Like, well, I love music. I was like, cool. Do you love listening to music? No, I play music. Like, okay, cool. Tell me more about playing music. I have thousands of hours of tracks. I was like, well, where is it? It's like, oh, it's nowhere.
it's not, it's not on Spotify. It's not on SoundCloud. It's like, no. I couldn't deal with someone not liking my music.
It's in a hard drive in my
It's in a hard drive.
box
Exactly.
or something like that. Yeah.
And I remember saying to him on the call, your mission, your purpose, whatever it is right now, is to work through every block you have of getting that music out. That's it. I don't know if it's music, or I don't know if it's still the trade that you're in, but that's the path you have to take. Because until you're willing to show the world who you actually are, you're not going to get dropped down some gift that's going to require you to go so outside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, hey, give me the whole thing right here. Make sure it has a 7-figure income. It's not too taxing. I don't want to work weekends. Actually, if I get have Fridays off too, like now I'm ready for my purpose.
And I'm completely safe.
I'm
and I
so
won't be
safe.
criticized. I won't be like wrung through the dirt and mud and like called all the names in the book.
Exactly.
And, like, given 1-star reviews and all this kind of crap, or whatever you're creating in the world, right? It's like everybody wants that. I'm like, oh, okay, man. I don't know, man. This path is
I
not
don't
for the
think it
faint of
works
heart,
that
man.
way.
You really want to live into who you are.
Yeah.
It's the most vulnerable path you could take, because what I'm hearing that is like you have to delve into self-expression,
Yeah.
right? And be like unapologetically in the world
Exactly.
as who you are, because that I don't know. I always kind of take it back to this, like whatever you're doing in the world, like you doing men's work, I'm doing men's work, whatever like that. We have our own way of gifting it to the world that comes through our unique imprint, our blueprint, whatever it is, our DNA, whatever it is, our soul, whatever you want to call it. And like that, the more that you refine that it's so authentically you,
Yeah.
I think that's where life starts to reward you with all the 7 figures, but also it rewards you with like the integrity of your heart and your soul and your cock and your balls and everything being aligned, where you're like, no, this is who I am. Like you're kind of planting your flag. But what that requires, whether it's like putting your music out into the world or sharing your art in any form, that could be a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
Is not fun.
No.
It's not a journey that like people often think, oh, once I find my purpose, then like I'm good, man. Like I'll have the business, I'll have the partnership, I'll have this kind of stuff. Like, no, dude, it's ruthless. It's grueling. And people that know my work know this, or follow me on socials. I got absolutely targeted and like attacked by like thousands and thousands of people
No kidding.
on Instagram for I had no idea who this person was. They just target people and they try to like deconstruct them and like rip them apart.
No kidding.
It's like, this guy's lying about his past. He's a fraud. He's taking advantage of people. He's he's a grifter, and he has an army. It's 500,000 followers, and his army came and just blew up my entire thing, destroyed all the ratings of my podcast, like my YouTube, like everything, like everywhere I could go, they could attack me. They attacked me, right? And it was
That's insane.
It was
Yeah.
it was really crazy. And I like I'm a fiery dude.
Sure.
So I slapped back immediately. It was like the biggest mistake I ever made. Like, don't feed the trolls, right? And so within a day I was like, okay, I gotta just eject from this.
Yeah.
But dude, like that, and it's social media, so on some level it's like, who cares? But they were like doxing my family, and they were like,
It's still, there's a human behind social media.
it was dark. It got really dark. He got really dark, man. And it was I was like, this is it though. Like this is what it the not for everyone, but this is kind of the risk that you take to play in the realm of like being expressed in yourself. That like that's a possibility.
For sure.
Like being canceled.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean? In
For
some regard, which is just so, ridiculously over the top these days, I think. But it was an initiation. That was an initiation in itself. And people can, say like, oh, whatever. But it's like, man, that had an impact on me. You know what I mean? Just the amount of projection at me of energy. And what I kind of, just speaking to this piece around that is like, well, what I learned in that is like, okay, but like that kind of comes with the territory, and you and I are out in the world. Not everyone's purpose is some might be building a home or something like that or doing something else. But when you really start to bare your soul to the world and really give a transmission of like you, that's a lot to put on the line, man. And I think a lot of people are misinformed in how much courage that really requires, because it also requires letting go of a lot of things in your life. Or this guy, whatever he's working through, his perfectionism or is not good enough, or any of this stuff, for not sharing his music in the world, right? But even if that doesn't end up being the thing, I think you're totally on it. It's like, start there.
Right.
Like start
Right.
there.
Right. And think of, I know so many people, Evan, that are worried about the big cancellation, but it's not that. It's the guy I went to high school with 3 years into my idea, who I haven't talked to in 25 years, sending a Facebook message saying like, hey, I think your stuff's crap.
Yeah.
Like that's really what I think most people are afraid of. It's not the external they, even though we see it and we know it. And I'm sure that was hell to live through. Mm-hmm. Even if you're on the other side, it takes a toll. Mm-hmm. And people know that, but it is that like, it's the intangible. Yeah. You're afraid of the thing you don't know. More so than than the thing you're actually afraid of. Because what I've found with so many people who actually do step into their purpose or step fully into it, especially if it's public, the thing you fear the most doesn't happen. And the thing that fucks you up is the thing you never saw coming. Mm-hmm. But so there's this, Dewey and I recorded a podcast a couple of weeks ago where he was saying, especially for men, what we fear the most is actually fear. We fear the feeling of being afraid. So we mitigate. I don't ever want to feel afraid. So I don't do all of this stuff, which sounds like a play on words, but it's not. I know so many guys who are scared of the secondary, tertiary, fourth thing happening that they won't even take the first step. Right? There's this saying like, don't worry about the donkey going blind, just load the cart. And I feel like that's really important for a lot of people with stepping into authenticity. Like your house isn't going to burn down, but you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to hate you that you never knew, or some weird aberrant thing that's going to happen. But there's still the fear of, will I get through that okay? Mm-hmm. Right? You'll get through it okay. Mm-hmm. And I imagine if it happened today, you'd totally be like, different. This is going to take a week of my life. I'm going to block everybody and you can get fucked and yada, yada, yada. Totally. But because you've been through it. Yeah. Right. And the things you've been through, you're now prepared for. Yeah. So it's really like, what am I not prepared for that I don't think I'll live through? Yeah. That's what's swimming in so many people's stomachs. I think men specifically, because we are more control oriented. And we a lot of times don't have a good social network. Yeah. So it's going to be, what am I going to have to deal with on my own? As opposed to, we're well resourced with really, really powerful men. We're going to be like, dude, this has happened to me 5 times. Just shut your Instagram down for the day. It's
pretty much exactly
come
how
back
it went
in 40
me.
hours, right?
And the mistake that I made was like, I didn't reach for counsel first. I just like responded from that part of me. And my buddies were like, bro, like, why didn't you bring this to us before you said anything? We would have kind of like walked you through this, because it has happened to them in different degrees, not to the intensity that it happened to me.
Sure.
I got like a triple dose, but like they're like, but I'm fortunate to have that, because that's the exact thing. And I think there's like a lot of shame that gets wrapped up into that, and guys don't really know what to do with all that, like the fear and kind of, especially on a public front, if they're putting themselves out into the world in any capacity, anything that you create in the world, regardless of whether it's like on social media or not, becomes witnessed and open to criticism, right? It doesn't really matter what you're doing. And when guys haven't really worked that out before in a way where they actually can kind of display their wounds or their pains or the shit that the fucked up stuff they've done, which we've all done publicly, right? Or like to a men's group at least, or you know what I mean, be witnessed in it, which is kind of like your thing is like looking at the statistics of 800,000 people that are getting divorced. It's like, yeah, if you had just gone to a group of men who are all, or maybe you did, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh yeah, dude, I went through that and I went through that and I went through that and I went through that. It like normalizes that experience, right? Yeah. And then that shame starts to get kind of transmuted. And I think for me, what really made it the transition into being more public facing, because I wasn't before at all, was because I was already so deep in that world of just like splaying it out and being like, this is also me. And I did this thing when I was 16 and I like did this thing and then I almost went to prison when I was 18 and like bringing all that out in ways that I'd never before. Just like people be like, oh yeah, like what I did was way more fucked up than that. You know what I mean? Like I did this and I was like, damn, like, wow, I'm glad I didn't go down that path. Yeah. You know, and then we all laugh about it and normalize it. Like kind of creates this internal courage where it's like, cool, like, yeah, it doesn't feel good to get 500,000 people, you know, blowing up
not your life all.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I know that like I'll be fine on the other side of it because it's just another I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's like I've been preparing for this on some level. I didn't know I was, but I was. And I think that, like you said before, it's taking those little actions. Your purpose will evolve from that if you put more and more out into the world.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think you can prepare for initiations.
No. The whole point of
by their nature,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
You don't get to white knuckle an initiation.
No. Yeah.
But you can prepare, you can give yourself skill to navigate it in a way that you will come out of it less damaged and more inspired and transformed.
Yeah, and I think historically, like, people actually were prepared for it, not in like, this is what you're going to do, but like getting resourced, you know? So when you do face those things, you're a bit more whole and you have some stuff to fall back on. So you're not devastated by life.
For sure.
And that's what I think a lot of guys need.
For sure.
Honestly, like before they want to get right to the end goal, or it's like, I want to figure out what I'm here to do and with my life. I'm like, cool, you got a lot of stuff to like handle that's happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
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 Myself included. It's a constant journey, but kind of like, okay, let's clear the slate of everything that's kind of happening right now in your life. Right?
Yeah.
Like all the things that are out of integrity, all the things that are these loose threads of consciousness that are being pulled, your addictions, all this kind of stuff. And then maybe you actually like might be clear enough to start to receive like what really wants to come through you and live into this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Prepare the vessel. Prepare for it. I've never been pregnant, but understand the languaging around like, just, this is going to be, you're never going to prepare for, you're not going to be ready.
Yeah.
But you can get your house in order.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between like, cool, we know our finances, we paid off the debt, we have supplies for the next couple months, we have friends that are going to come over and help us, and it's still going to be fucking chaos on a degree you can't even imagine right now. But that's very different than like, nah, didn't do anything, and now I'm just knocked down on day one of the experience, whatever the experience may be. Right? We've lost a lot of resilience. Men have lost a lot of resilience. I think as a society, we've lost a lot of resilience, and it's fair because you and I right now can pick up our phones and have food here in 15. We can have just about anything we want here in 15 minutes, and that de-resilienceizes us, right? It has to. We don't live in a state where things aren't necessary. We don't often keep them. But then bringing that out and cultivating it and nurturing it to say, yeah, I'm preparing for the next initiation. I know I have a good men's group around me. I have good guys around me. I know the direction I'm going, but there's going to be another one, right? You don't get out of life without a couple more initiations. So let me be fortified, right? Let me be resourced.
Yeah. It makes me think, of course, I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but like some practices, like you're a recent brown belt, right? Jiu-Jitsu? Yeah. Like excellent resilience building art. I rolled a little bit when I was a teenager, and then this year I got like quite seriously back into it. I've been training really hard, and just noticing like how I perceive the world entirely differently, like just within like 3 or 4 months of training, especially after, like almost immediately after, you know. And I'm sure maybe this is more like not as fresh a memory for you because you've been in it for a while, but just this idea, like it's humbling, but it's also like incredibly resilient building, because you kind of have to, and everybody's telling me this, like you're just gonna suck and like take your licks for like probably a couple years before you have any idea what you're doing. And I'm like, man, this is such a great like analogy for kind of life or doing anything new or really going after something that you're really passionate about. It's like, no, you're going to suck and you're going to hate your work. And I'm getting submitted after submitted. I'm making the same mistake over and over and over again. And like, you know, leaving something out that I'm like, I didn't even know that I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? And, something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be jiu-jitsu, but I really, the physicality piece is something that I start with men so often. It's like, just like whatever it is, like it's the same thing with the boss course. So it's like part of why I did that. It's like find a way, because we live in this super convenient world where there's Uber and Amazon and all this kind of stuff. Like you have to seek out these ways to like kind of get your ass kicked. You know, and like be a little sore and like
be in trials.
Revel in that.
Right?
Like,
I was telling her I trained yesterday and telling my partner, and I came home and she's like, your face is all fucked up. And I'm like, I know, it's Monday. you know? And imagine going to the public who haven't exercised in 5 years, have not been in pain in years. Yeah. If they are in pain, are immediately taking a pill and saying, my fingers hurt today. Like they do. My neck hurts today. Yeah. And that's normal. Mm-hmm. And that's not masochistic. That's the requirement of what the sport gives me, which is a sense of movement and efficiency and primal deadliness on the ground that you cannot earn without coming home on a Monday and being like, yeah, my face is all fucked up right now. And tomorrow it won't be, but I'll be back at it on Wednesday. So I feel like we're unwilling to pay the price of the things that we want nowadays. That's a struggle I see with a lot of younger men. I want to be CEO. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have X, Y, and Z. And I'm old enough to know that there were no 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old millionaires at my age, unless you're just like a freak of nature athlete, mm-hmm. an actor. And you know, tech was just starting to come around. So maybe one of the 8 dudes that did it then. For us, it was like, you're going to suck at your job until you're 25, 28, 30. Then you're going to get better. And then some guys are going to retire. And then you move up the chain. And by the way, if we took you right now, I remember like having a goal in my 20s. I want to be CEO of a company. I'm a CEO of a company at 48, and I'm still every day like reading, what does a CEO do? You know, totally, like CEO for Dummies.
Yeah.
I hope no one in my company sees me like reading this before the meeting. Yeah. At 25, I would have been an absolute train wreck of that in that position. So we mature into things. At 25, I wouldn't have had the life experience to go. Like, we had an employee commit suicide. At 25, you think I would, like, company's done, we're done, we're out, we're done. At 46, it was like, okay, let's get the team together. How is everybody? How are you? For the next, we're going to stay on this call for 3-4 hours if we have to, while everybody shares how they're doing. You don't get to fake that. Yeah. You don't get to go, cool, well, I had an idea and I made $25 million, and so I'm ready to be in this position. I had to earn the ability to hold that meeting through my own trials and tribulations, through my own challenges, through my own initiations, through boss, through all of the things that were like, I don't know if I'm going to get through this. Oh, wow, I got through this. Okay, I went through a hard time and came out okay. Now I know I can be around other people who are going through a hard time and help them be okay. But we skip the suck.
Yeah, and the suck is like where when you reflect on it, those were like the golden times. You know what I mean? Like,
we masochists? Yeah, no. Because I agree with you.
I
like,
love getting my ass kicked,
like my white belt days, and it was like I just sucked. Yeah. I mean, I just was terrible. I should have been. Yeah. I was a white belt.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, and it was like, but I went twice a day.
Yeah.
And just got beat up twice a day. Yeah. It was like, I don't know. I'm 25. Just beat my ass. I don't care.
Totally.
Like, I'll be fine tomorrow.
Yeah. I come home and my wife's just like, why do you go there? Like, she just doesn't understand. She's like, you come home, you're limping. Like, I popped a rib like 3 weeks ago. She's like, I'm just like all fucked up. She's like, what's all those cuts all over your hands and your feet and everything like that? I'm like, oh, I don't know, jiu-jitsu. I'm like, you got to do it. It's the best. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just get there and I get crushed and I feel like I'm, suffocating, and then I get choked out, and like, it's just, but I feel like there's like an aliveness, and I know that like all of this is, it's like I said, like you're just saying, it's all leading somewhere. And I know that, and I'm actually really enjoying the process of like, even incrementally, like, oh, I lasted another 2 minutes today, a little longer, or I made it through that entire round, and I was like, I did a sweep or something. Like, that's like huge for me, right? Like, wow, like, and it's actually giving me a lot of altitude on the rest of my life, like in business, like, oh, because the bar moves so quickly. It's like, oh, I did 100K. Why didn't I do 300?
Right.
Why didn't I do? Now I need to do. It's like, man, 3 years ago, I would have been over the moon if I had this month
just to
business.
Get paid.
Exactly. Right. To be an entrepreneur. Like, I had dreamed of that from when I was young. I really want to run my own business. So my dad ran his own business.
Yeah.
And I started doing it. And now I got like 2 businesses, and I'm just like, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? And I've had some older men being like, dude, enjoy this. Like, enjoy the grind. Enjoy the part of you that's like worried about making payments. Like you're gonna look back at this because it's not as fun when you're at the top, man.
Yeah.
Like this is the I don't think it's masochistic. I think it's inherent in men that like we kind of need a little bit of that pressure back where it's like, I don't know, man, like on boss, you're like, fuck, man, I've been fasting for 4.5, 5 days. Like, when are we going to get, I don't know if I could hike another 10 miles. You know what I mean?
Like food, yeah.
And then you get it, right? And then it's like, oh, cool. That would have been a different experience if they told us what was happening or what was going on or what was happening next or where we were going or when it was going to end.
Right.
So it's just that.
Yeah. You know, when you say that, what I hear too is, and it's not just jiu-jitsu, but there's a relationship and there's contact with something that's real. And that is
pushes back sometimes.
There's a deep longing in men to rub up against something that's actually real. Yeah. When we look out and see so much that's not real, I think intuitively we understand there's a disconnect between picking up my phone and 10 minutes later food coming at my door and thinking that's where food comes from. Food comes from my phone. That's not reality. And so the jiu-jitsu mat, which is pure, I beat you, you beat me.
Yeah.
The wilderness, which is pure, you fucked up, now you're going to die. You did okay, now you're going to live. Yeah. The elements are right there rubbing up against you. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it but be in relationship with those elements or be in relationship with the guy you're rolling with or the pain that's in your rib or the defense that's not working or is working. I think it's the purity of the relationship that is so rare.
Yeah, it's like less degrees of separation. I think the more that we can collapse those degrees, right? Like that's why we were talking about, I was a farmer. Dude, like, it's not that I didn't love farming because it paid well or it was good for my body or like, it was glorious. I loved it because the results were immediate almost. And if I fucked around and I didn't do something properly, then like 2 weeks later that crop would fail. And then it's like, that's money that's gone. And so there's like an immediate reciprocal relationship I love being outside and being sure too, but like there's an immediate reciprocal relationship, which is like extremely rewarding, which we are so far removed from now. Right. Like even picking up your phone, let alone ordering food, but like taking some dating advice off an Instagram influencer or something like that. It's like that hasn't, you could just go forever on that. And it's not embodied. It's not, you feel like you're ascertaining some sort of knowledge or something like that, but it's not real world application. You could watch 100 jiu-jitsu videos and then you get to the gym and it's like, it doesn't matter, right? It's like, it doesn't make a lick of difference. There's something about, for me, and it's the transmission that I really try to bring to guys is like, you got to be like in the world, like really in it. You're not going to learn it through a Zoom call with me right now, man. Like you got to be like, taking your licks in all endeavors of life, in relationship, taking those risks, when it comes to doing something meaningful in your life. And I think we're missing that, which is why I feel the resonance. It's like, we like to do hard stuff because I think it's inherent in men to do hard things, to do really, really hard things and then find out if they can do it, and if it's possible. And then that it brings an aliveness that is hard to replicate in any other way.
1,000%.
Yeah.
There is nothing like the last day of the boss course. Yeah. Of driving out of the facility.
I just wept, dude.
Right?
I was so touched, man.
I was so fucked up.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, I probably won't feel this way again in my life. Yeah. Or I won't feel, I don't know when I will, because I will not have put in a month's worth of effort and suffering to get the feeling that I have now.
To drive it back in like 15 minutes.
I've earned it. Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. No, but I hear you. Yeah. And it's I think like at the core of it, that's a lot of like, if you look, this as well, men aren't doing well, right? Like statistically, men aren't doing well. And I think it's that when we don't have that, we lose that resistance. And as boys, constantly testing. Most kids are constantly testing the boundaries of like what they're capable of, what's possible with other people, with authority, with stuff. And then we slowly get that like conditioned out of us. Yeah. We become these impotent, limp cogs in this greater wheel. And there's not this, like that wildness and that innate nature of us gets really suppressed and lost, and then it comes out in these really fucking shadowy ways.
For sure.
And we're seeing, like, kind of bringing it back to that whole thing that we've been talking about, some of the recent events and men in these positions of power. It's like, that's just like this, that stuff is not, it's just unintegrated. You know what I mean? It's fucked up for sure, but it's like, it's a product of like a lack of integration of things that can't be expressed in a healthy way. In my opinion,
I 1,000% agree. If we go back to that developmental model and go, is the world okay? Am I okay? What can I do? How well can I do it? If we cut men off there, it's like, oh, you don't actually get to play in the what can I do? How well can I do it? Then they're going to be sitting on the, like, is the world okay? Am I okay? And not get to express that. And then that truly neuters us. Like, you use the word impotent. We become unpotent. And so we have to take all of this energy that's inside of us and put it somewhere. We have to. There's no, it just doesn't, or it has to collapse in on itself. And we see that as well with a lot of men who have literally just given up. Right? They're not working. They're not in a relationship. They have no idea. They're just high playing video games. As opposed to, what is this? This is the gift area. What can I do? How well can I do it? To me is what gift do you have for the world? And you deny someone their gift to the world, you deny them why they're here. And that's going to require numbing. It's going to require shadow expressions. We say that which we suppress comes out sideways. Right? How many guys have you worked with or I worked with when I say, okay, well, what if you actually just did that publicly? What if you had the conversation with your wife that you want to fuck her that way, as opposed to jerking off to that kind of porn, which is now leading to secrecy. It's now leading to shame. It's now leading to guilt. It's now leading to hiding. Like, what if you actually just stood in front of her and took the risk and said, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And then dealt with the consequences if they come, because the consequences are, or could be, okay, then you're not the right person for me. And I know we got a mortgage and we got a kid and we got a thing. So we have to actually work out, do I do this with you, or do I do it consciously and in the light that you know about some other way? There's a very narrow set of options with hiding, with secrecy, with denial, let's say. So I think even if we take that, if I take it a step further back, how many guys know what they want to do, want to see how well they can do it, but are in denial of it because it would require changing of their life circumstances. It's going to require moving. It's going to require changing your job. It's going to require entering the unknown of the breakup or I just quit yesterday. I hated that job. I didn't like it. I told everybody I was going to quit, and I quit today, and now I'm terrified because what do you know? I don't have another job lined up tomorrow that's exactly like the one I had, but just slightly different, that 2 years from now I'll go through the same process with, as opposed to actually putting the damn stake in the ground and saying, I want to play music. I want to start a podcast. I want to be a doctor. It doesn't have to even be, I think sometimes we get seduced by the alternative path of like, I want to be an entrepreneur. Well, you better think about that real carefully. Or do you actually want to be an accountant, right? Are you a painter and you actually want to be an accountant? Like we don't want to, just make make it, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like the alternative isn't always
the only option.
It's not the only option. It could be anything. But it really, for so many guys, comes down to this truth of self-knowledge. Like, are you who you say you are? Is this what you want to be doing with your life? I'm now at a stage where I have guys older than me who are deep in their eldership. And now not for the first time, but I have a number of guys who are a generation younger than me who are looking up and saying, okay, cool. How did you navigate this? Guide me. And I'm going, all right, I know what's next for me. 20 years from now, I'm going to be in the eldership spot. And I know how fast 20 years went, right? The days are long, the years are short.
Definitely.
And so it starts to become more imperative of, I got to live the life I want to live. Because it's tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be guiding guys in their 50s and saying, hey, man, I don't want to say, and I won't say, man, I wish when I was your age I did X.
Yeah.
You know, I'll share the story I happened with you. When I was leaving my gym, So I owned this business and left it, and it was a very hard leaving. And I went to do this year-long project. And I remember having these two guys come up to me. Both were probably 10, 15 years older than me. Very, very successful financially, marriage-wise. Like, the boxes are checked.
Yep.
Like, all the kids are in private school, multiple homes. They run their own businesses. They have passion projects, like literally separately. So not in conversation with each other. Each one maybe 3 days apart, like holding me by the shoulders and saying, do this trip for me. Like, tears in their eyes. Like, please don't let anybody talk you out of this. I know it seems irrational. It doesn't make sense, but like, please, I can't do this anymore. I can't take a year off of my life and disappear and wander the earth and learn and blah, 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 blah. Do this for me. And I remember thinking like, fuck, but for how much of my life did I just want to be you? I wanted the house. I wanted the wife. I wanted the kids. I wanted the Ferrari. I wanted the things. And here you're telling me, do this for me, go live out of your car for a while, go be broke, go like teach kettlebell workshops in weird gyms and, sleep in Airbnbs that are rando and like that's what you're telling me to do? Oh shit, I better take this seriously.
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's something here that's wiser than me saying this. And so I feel like I'm rambling, but I hope guys realize that, and I know it's a meme, but I think it's a really important meme that 20 years from now, you're going to look at your life and your health and your now and be like, man, I would do just about anything to be, the shape I was in at 35.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. It's going to happen. And at 30, I almost didn't go to grad school at 27 because for acupuncture, because I was like, I'm not going to graduate till I'm 31. And by then, like life's kind of over,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
And I was in school with people in their 60s. But now, and I've had to catch myself to be like, I don't want to do this thing because it's going to take 3 years, and by then I'll be 51, and like life's kind of over at 51.
Yeah.
And I think that's a blinder that we have of like, hey, there is no good time, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you feel the call, if you like feel the tap on the shoulder or hear the heart whispers, your life will not be, there will be no better time to follow that call.
Yeah.
I think inherent in the call is the seed that like, hey, there's not going to be a good time to do this.
Now. Yeah.
It's now.
Yeah.
Like, and perhaps you do have a little bit more of an open window. Oh, you did just come out of a 7-year relationship. Do the fucking thing. Right? Oh, you did just for months and months and years say you hate your job and then they fired you and now you're really pissed that they fired you. Stop being pissed. Go do the thing.
Yeah.
Go live your passion. Right? I was on a call 3 weeks ago with a guy in his late 60s. Did the things. Kids are adults, great relationship. He's divorced. He's basically retired. And I was like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with this next chapter? And it was so heartwarming. It's like, you know what I want to do? I want to move to Nashville and play music. But who does that in their 60s? And I was like, I'm going to call you in a month. If you are not fucking picking up the phone, from the outside of a bar with a guitar in your hand in Nashville, I will drive to your house and whoop your ass because you have the opportunity and you won't have it for long. And that dude is in Nashville. Is he the top of the Nashville circuit? No. Yeah. But is his heart and soul like, thank you for doing this, right? Thank you for that. I did an entire year called the Year to Live Project. And the goal was at the end of your life, when you take your last breath, do you take it full? Yeah. That's a hell of a goalpost, man. Like I'm pretty goddamn sure I'm going to get to the end of my life. I hope from, the next chapter or the latter half, I go, yeah, I did it. I did the things I wanted to do. Were there hiccups and trials and maybe even years where I was face down on rock bottom again? Maybe, but I did the things that I want to do.
Yeah. There's a quote, I don't know, it might be Stoic or something, but it's like, when death finds you, let it find you living.
Yeah.
Right. Like let it find, like, cause we don't know, like,
right?
making it to their 60s to go play music in Nashville. That's not a guarantee, right? But like,
It
let
is
it
not.
find you living, whether you're 16 or 60, right? And I love to that point, like one of the most heartwarming things is that when I see people that are like in their kind of senior years, like taking on new things or doing new things, I'm always like, yeah, like that's what I aspire to be, because similar to what we were speaking about before, like that tendency to just push people away in a home or whatever like that. It's like there's some idea culturally that like, oh, we slowly degrade and then we kind of just like lose our minds and die or get cancer or whatever like that. And it's like, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. But I'm curious with the elders, what you're obviously leading men in that sometimes are a generation younger than you and kind of through things that you've experienced. How are they leading you, or what do you feel like you're kind of ascertaining from these older men that you're working with?
That's a great question. We had Francis Weller, you know Francis, come. He's a Canadian, isn't he?
I think so.
I think he is. Come into a men's group, a very high level men, and we all said, "What do we do without elders? Like we don't have that. How do we prepare to become elders?" And he said, "Your path is actually that, to actually prepare yourself to be an elder." And so one of the things I've asked of them, of these older men, is prepare me to be in your shoes and your situation. And maybe it's not active. Like I don't need the 7-point plan over the next 5 years, but really what it is show me what's possible. These two guys, after the call this weekend, I got on the phone with one of them and he said, "I think we're going to take this on the road. Like we're going to try to get the two of us on stages all over the world, talking to younger people, talking to younger men, talking to anybody. Like we're the elder council is going on the road."
Cool.
And I remember thinking, like, God bless you. One, just for doing that, but two, for reminding me that when I get to be 73, I can go on the road.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Stephen Jenkins?
Definitely.
Dude,
I've interviewed him a bunch of times.
Yeah. He's also Canadian.
He's on the road.
Yeah, dude. I was like amazed. And you can like, he's an older dude.
He's an older dude.
In his mid-70s, almost 80 around there.
Right.
So
what else would you rather be doing, man?
It's amazing.
You know?
Like that's what I'm saying. I love that.
Yeah.
He's just living, man. Just gonna find him living, man. Doesn't matter.
And he's sharing his message. Like his
medicine.
His purpose doesn't stop because maybe you miss a step or you can't walk as much or you need some help getting in and out of your hotel room. So I think they're doing a couple things, Evan. They're leading and showing by example. But one of the things, since I know they're genius, like these guys are fucking smart.
Yeah.
I've watched them over the years. I've watched how their hearts have become more powerful than their minds.
Yeah.
And I don't use the word genius lightly here. When you create the software in the 80s with no software training that Pixar still uses today, you're smart. You're very smart. Yeah. I was getting punched in the face in my 20s and being like, well, I think I'm doing good.
Yeah.
When you're that smart, but yet the effect I get to see from you is that people cry around you. People feel like they can share stuff they've never shared before. People feel nurture in your presence that they just don't know where else to get. Like, man, that also sets the stage for me to go, maybe I don't need to read 50 books a year to be valuable when I'm 70.
Yeah.
But that paternal energy and just that love, the heart energy is really what people will need at that time from me. Mm-hmm. Not another way to design a spreadsheet or to make more software.
Yeah.
So they're really leading by example.
The softening, I think that happens kind of hopefully naturally.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's a calcification, but oftentimes someone that's a little wiser, there tends to be I'm noticing even my own father right now, just like a softening.
There's a softening.
In him, and he's just like gentler, and it's just like it's a really beautiful thing to see from like an older man.
For sure.
That kind of
like they've done battle with the world.
Exactly.
Right? They've done. Their swords are down. Their shields are down. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Well, I want to start to kind of wind us down
here,
but I guess I'm curious, a couple more questions. First, any projects, anything you're working on, book or like, are you doing another dark retreat? Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. I'm in the middle of writing a book on my last dark experience.
Cool.
And it is the stories of the room that I was in are the backdrop for lessons for people on how do you navigate your own dark time.
How many days was it?
It was 28 days.
It's a long time.
Yeah. And I'm going in for 49.
Where's that?
It's terribly contradictive. It's in Tuscany.
Oh, interesting.
So I was like, you guys should do this.
Sounds really beautiful.
In like
to
Kansas.
be in a dark room. Yeah, exactly. Why don't you put me in like Mississippi or something? You know?
Or like somewhere in New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
So I will be in Tuscany next May through July.
Wow.
In a dark room.
Wow.
Yeah.
49 days. How are you feeling about that?
It's jostling.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially after doing it once, you kind of know what you're in for, and then longer. And then it's almost worse.
3 weeks longer.
Yeah.
You know, she interviewed me as like, hey, what are the questions you would have? I've answered all the ones that society, like the general podcast world asked me. Yeah. And she's like, I bet you won't even think about it till the week of. You'll be like, oh shit, I'm going in the dark next week. And I was like, honey, I'm thinking of it. Like, it fucks me up now. Like I will sit on my meditation mat and be like, oh fuck. Okay. Yeah. This thing's a year away. I feel it. Like I feel the dark to me is home, but it's also as real gets. Like there's nowhere to hide. It may sound contradictive, but there's nowhere to hide in the dark. There's nowhere to hide. Right. And so, yeah, my project is that book. I never told a lot of the stories from that month. And I told myself, like, I'll be fully transparent when I write this book. And so even the journey of, this was 6-7 years ago, writing it now, I was just in Costa Rica to write it. And I would be crying, you know, for hours at a time, sitting there trying to type. It's that profoundly hard. So then to know that the experience is coming again, it's an initiation, right? Like I'm prepared for it in quotes, but I know as soon as that door shuts and I hear the key turn, it's game on. It's like, who knows what's going to come? Will it be easy? Could be. Will it be this time just hallucinogenic and otherworldly? Maybe. Man. Will it be a depth of hell that I never hit on the last one? Maybe. But it is
that's
ultimate
a podcast
unknown.
I want to record.
What's that?
I said that's a podcast I want to record. Day 50. No, but
right.
Incredible, man. Just
thank you.
I want to acknowledge you for continuing to take on your work and like to step away from the world for that long. Yeah. When you're running a company and you got a partnership and everything that you're up to is hard to do. Like
thank you.
It's hard to create, and that it requires a lot of sacrifice, you know. And
yeah.
I know that because I haven't done something nearly that long, but just even taking time to do, like 28 days where I'm out, no contact.
Right,
like it takes a lot of, it's a commitment. And so,
thank you.
Yeah. I just want to,
it's a call.
It is.
And so if we speak to everything that we've spoken to for the last hour, I have to honor that call.
Exactly.
Like she asked, like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I have no choice. I have choice, but I have choice, but I don't have choice.
Yeah.
Like the call was made and I said, I will live my life in a manner that answers the calls when they come. And so whether it's 7 weeks or 7 years, I have to go. Yeah. And I have to be back. There's something in there that I need to experience or gather. And hopefully it is that I do come out and get to say, as I did with the last one, okay, world, here's what I've just learned at this pivotal, tumultuous time in humanity. Or it's just for me. Yeah. Or it's just for her, right? It's just for our family. But it'll be real.
Yeah, I mean, there's oftentimes fruits that bear beyond what we can imagine from experiences like that continue to gift us and the world and the people in our lives for many years after. So, all right, man. Well, let people know, of course, if they're not familiar with you, what are you up to in terms of how they can connect with you? Work that I know you have a community. Some programs, retreats, things like that. So maybe share a little bit about that.
Check out manuncivilized.com/events. Mm-hmm. We have a father-son initiation this year, a law enforcement and first responder initiation where those guys can come together and do work. We have an initiation, like a 5-day workshop coming up in April. It's sold out, but we may do another one in the fall. But I'm on Instagram at Traver Boehm, TraverBoehm. Uncivilized podcast. Anything, if you just put Uncivilized, and you may get with this one group in Hawaii, but that's not me. Other than that, like just about everything under the name is me. And please get a hold of the book, Man Uncivilized.
Beautiful.
If you're a man listening to this, that book will change your life.
Amazing, man. Well, I got one more little thing for you.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can grab it here. I thought you would appreciate this. So 13 Pines is my company with Nick.
Oh, right on.
And I want to give you two things. First, this is a bald eagle feather.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
I actually found an entire bald eagle a couple of years ago. And so that's a tail feather. So it's pretty rare to find those.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So I don't know if
I saw an eagle flying up here just the other day before the storm.
Oh, there you go, brother. Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like, powerful bird. And then I thought this was kind of funny and cheeky, man. You can have you can put that somewhere. I don't know, put it on a pin board or anything. Join a fucking men's group. I know that you're an advocate as much as I am for for good men work and the F word. So yeah, brother, appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking time. Thanks for having me here.
Coming over.
And until the next time.
Thank you.
All right.